You are entering a zone where religion is banished. Talk of Jesus, theories, scripture, and the esoteric is the forefront. Can you handle it? There we go, that might help a little bit. Hope everyone's having a good week, or had a good week, shall we say. We will be starting in Jubilees tonight, for those who are listening on iTunes or any kind of audio-only podcast. The book that I'll be reading out of is the Book of Jubilees, which is translated by R.H. Charles. There it is right there, and I've also put a link to Amazon to this specific book in the description, along with both of the Enoch books that I've been reading out of. That way y'all can go and grab it yourself and listen and either read along or read it for yourself. As usual, don't forget to go to the website www.thegothicmystic.com. Check out everything that's going on there. I've been updating it, so it's slowly coming through. And don't forget to like, share this thing out, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you're interested in supporting this, patreon.com/thegothicmystic. You can also find that through the website, which will be on the top right on the main webpage under donate, and there'll be a link there. Alright. So I guess we will go ahead and begin. I can't think of anything else. Not sure how far I'll be going with the reading because my voice is already sounding a little hoarse. So again, if you have any questions, throw them in there. And I guess I shall begin. Make sure everything's good. Cool. Alright. So chapter 1 of the Book of Jubilees. And it came to pass in the first year of the exodus of the children of Israel out of Egypt, in the 3rd month of the 16th day of the month, that God spoke to Moses, saying, Come up to me on the mount, and I will give thee 2 tablets of stone of the law and of the commandment which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moses went up to the mount of God, and the glory of God abode on Mount Sinai, and a cloud overshadowed it 6 days. And he called to it on the 6th day out of the midst of the cloud, and the appearance of the glory of the Lord was like a flaming fire on top of the mount. And Moses was on the mount 40 days and 40 nights, and God spoke to him the earlier and the later history of the division of all the days of the law and of the testimony. And he said, Incline thy heart to every word which I speak to thee on this mount. Write them in a book, in order that their generations may see how I have not forsaken them for all the evil which they have wrought in the transgression of transgressing the covenant, which I establish between me and thee for their generations this day on Mount Sinai. And thus it will come to pass, when all these things come upon them, that they will recognize that I am more righteous than they in all their judgments and all their actions, and they will recognize that I have truly been with them. And do you write for thyself all these words which I declare unto thee this day, for I know their rebellion and their stiff neck, before I bring them into the land which I swear to their fathers, to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob, saying unto your seed will I give a land flowing with milk and honey, and they will eat and be satisfied, and they will turn to their strange gods, to gods which cannot deliver them from aught of their tribulation. And this witness shall be heard for a witness against them, for they will forget all my commandments, even all that I commanded them, and they will walk after the Gentiles, and after their uncleanness, and after their shame, and will serve their gods, and these will prove unto them an offense, and a tribulation, and an affliction, and a snare. And many will perish, and they will be taken captive, and will fall into the hands of the enemy, because they have forsaken my ordinances, and my commandments, and the festivals of my covenant, and my Sabbaths, and my holy place, which I have hallowed for myself in their midst, and my tabernacle, and my sanctuary, which I have hallowed for myself in the midst of the land, that I should set my name upon it, and that it should dwell there. And they will make to themselves high places and groves and graven images, and they will worship each of his own graven image, so as to go astray. And they will sacrifice their children to demons, and all the works of the air of their hearts. And I will send witnesses unto them, that I may witness against them, but they will not hear, and will slay the witnesses also. And they will persecute those who seek the law, and they will abrogate and change everything so as to work evil before my eyes. And I will hide myself from them, and I will deliver them into the hand of the Gentiles for captivity, and for a prey, and for devouring. And I will remove them from the midst of the land, and I will scatter them against the Gentiles. And they will forget all my law, and all my commandments, and all my judgments, and will go astray as to new moons, and Sabbaths, and festivals, and jubilees, and ordinances. And after this they will turn to me from amongst the Gentiles with all their heart, and with all their soul, and all their strength, and will gather them from amongst all the Gentiles. And they will seek me, so that I shall be found of them. When they seek me with all their heart, and with all their soul, and I will disclose to them abounding peace with righteousness, and I will remove them the plant of uprightness, and with all my heart, and with all my soul, and they shall be for a blessing, and not for a curse. And they shall be the head, and not the tail. And I will build my sanctuary in their midst, and I will dwell with them. And I will be their God, and they will be my people in truth and righteousness. And I will not forsake them, nor fail them, and I am the Lord their God. And Moses fell on his face and prayed, and said, O Lord my God, do not forsake my people, thy people, and thy inheritance, so that they should wander in error of their hearts, and do not deliver them into the hands of their enemies, the Gentiles, lest they should rule over them and cause them to sin against thee. Let thy mercy, O Lord, be lifted up upon thy people, and create in them an upright spirit, and let not the spirit of Belial rule over them, and to accuse them before thee, and to ensnare them from all the paths of righteousness, so that they may perish before thee, so they may perish from before thy face. But they are thy people and thy inheritance, which thou hast delivered with thy great power from the hands of the Egyptians. Create in them a clean heart and holy spirit, and let them not be ensnared in their sins from henceforth until eternity. And the Lord said to Moses, I know their contrariness, and their thoughts, and their stiff-neckedness, and they will not be obedient until they confess their own sin and the sin of their fathers. And after this they will turn to me in all uprightness, and with all their heart, and with all their soul, and I will circumcise the foreskin of their heart, and their foreskin of their heart of their seed, and I will create in them a holy spirit, and I will cleanse them, so they shall not turn away from me from that day until eternity. and their souls will cleave to me in all my commandments, and they will fulfill my commandments, and I will be their father, and they shall be my children, and they all shall be called children of the living God, and every angel and every spirit shall know, yea, they shall know that these are my children, and that I am their father in uprightness and righteousness, and that I love them. And do thou write down for thyself all these words which I declare unto thee on this mountain, the first and the last, which shall come to pass in all the divisions of the days, in the right, in the law, and in the testimony, and in the weeks, and in the jubilees, unto eternity, which I descend and will dwell with them throughout eternity. And he said to the angel of the presence, Write for Moses from the beginning of creation till my sanctuary has been built upon them for all eternity. And the Lord will appear to the eyes of all, and all shall know that I am the God of Israel, and the Father of all the children of Jacob, and King on Mount Zion for all eternity, and Zion and Jerusalem shall be holy. And the angel of the presence who went before the camp of Israel took the tablets of the divisions of the years from the time of the creation of the law, and the testimony of weeks of jubilees, according to the individual years, according to all the number of the jubilees, according to the individual years, and from the day of the new creation, when the heavens and the earth shall be renewed, and all their creation according to the powers of the heaven, according to all the creation of the earth, until the sanctuary of the Lord shall be made in Jerusalem on Mount Zion, and all the luminaries be renewed for healing and for peace and for blessing for all the elect of Israel, and that thus it may be from that day and unto all the days of the earth. Chapter 2. And the angel of the presence spake to Moses according to the word of the Lord, saying, Write the complete history of the creation, how in 6 days the Lord God finished all his works, and all that he created, and kept Sabbath on the seventh day, and hallowed it for all ages, and appointed it as a sign for all his works. For on the first day he created the heavens which are above, and the earth, and the waters, and all the spirits which serve him and all the spirits which serve before him, the angels of the presence, and the angels of the sanctification, and the angels of the spirit of fire, and the angels of the spirit of the winds, and the angels of the spirits of the clouds, and of darkness, and of snow, and of hail, and of hoarfrost, and the angels of the voices, and of the thunder, and of the lightning, and of the angels of the spirits of cold, and of heat, and of winter, and of spring, and of autumn, and of summer, and all the spirits of his creatures which are in the heavens and on the earth he created, the abysses and the darkness, eventide and night, and the light, dawn and day, which he hath prepared in the knowledge of his heart. And thereupon he saw his works, and praised him, and lauded before him on account of all his works. For 7 great works did he create on the first day. And on the second day he created the firmament in the midst of the waters, and the waters were divided on that day. Half of them went up above, and half of them went down below, and the firmament that was in the midst over the face of the whole earth. And this was the only work God created on the second day. And on the third day he commanded the waters to pass from off the face of the whole earth into one place, and the dry land to appear. And the waters did so as he commanded them, and they retired from off the face of the earth into one place outside of this firmament. and the dry land appeared. And on that day he created for them all the seas according to their separate gathering places, and all the rivers, and the gatherings of the waters in the mountains, and all the earth, and all the lakes, and all the dew of the earth, and the seed which is sown, and all the sprouting things, and fruit-bearing trees, and trees of the wood, and the garden of Eden, and all. These four great works God had created on the third day, and on the fourth day he created the sun and the moon and the stars, and set them in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon all the earth, and to rule over the day and the night, and divide the light from the darkness. And God appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days, and for Sabbaths, and for months, and for feasts, and for years, and for Sabbaths of years, and for Jubilees, and for all the seasons of the years. And it divideth the light from the darkness, and for prosperity, that all things may prosper which shoot and grow on the earth. These three kinds he made on the fourth day. And on the fifth day he created great sea monsters in the depths of the waters, for these were the first things of flesh that were created by his hands, the fish, and everything that moves in the water, and everything that flies, the birds, and all their kind. And the sun rose above them to prosper them, and above everything that was on the earth, everything that shoots out of the earth, and all fruit-bearing trees, and all flesh. These three kinds he created on the fifth day. And on the sixth day he created all the animals of the earth, and all cattle, and everything that moves on the earth. And after all this he created man. A man and a woman created he them, and gave him dominion over all that is upon the earth, and in the seas, and over everything that flies, and over beasts, and over cattle, and over everything that moves on the earth, and over the whole earth, and over all this he gave him dominion. And these four kinds he created on the sixth day, and there were together 22 kinds. And he finished all his work on the sixth day. All that is in the heavens and on the earth, and in the seas, and in the abysses, and in the light, and in the darkness, and in everything. He gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, that we should work 6 days, but keep Sabbath on the seventh day from all work. And all the angels of the presence, and all the angels of sanctification, and 2 great classes he hath bidden us to keep the Sabbath with him, in heaven and on earth. Lost my place. And he said unto us, Behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and these shall keep the Sabbath, and I will sanctify them unto myself and my people, and I will bless them. And I have sanctified the Sabbath day, and do sanctify it unto myself. So will I bless them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God. And I have chosen the seed of Jacob from amongst all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son, and have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Sabbath day, and they may keep Sabbath thereon from all work. And thus he created them a sign in accordance with which they should keep Sabbath with us on the seventh day, to eat and to drink, and to him bless him who has created all things. He has blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all peoples, and that they should keep Sabbath together with us. And he caused his commandments to ascend as a sweet savor, acceptable before him all the days. And there were 22 kinds of mankind from Adam to Jacob, and 22 kinds of work were made until the seventh day. This is blessed and holy, and the former also is blessed and holy. And this one serves with that one for sanctification and blessing, and to this Jacob and his seed it was granted that they should always be the blessed and holy ones of the first testimony and law, even as he had sanctified and blessed the Sabbath day. On the seventh day he created heaven and earth, and everything that he created in 6 days, and God made the seventh day holy for all his works. Therefore he commanded on his behalf that whoever does any work thereon shall die, and that he who defiles it shall surely die. Wherefore do thou command the children of Israel to observe this day, that they may keep it holy, and not do thereon any work, and not to defile it, as it is holier than all other days. And whoever profanes it shall surely die, and whoever does thereon any work shall surely die eternally, that the children of Israel may observe this day throughout their generations, and be rooted out of the land. For it is a holy day and blessed day, and a blessed day. And everyone who observes it and keeps Sabbath thereon from all his work will be holy and blessed throughout all days like unto us. Declare and say to the children of Israel the law of this day, both that they should keep Sabbath thereon, and that they should not forsake it in the error of their hearts, and for that it is not lawful to do any work thereon which is unseemly, to do thereon their own pleasure, and that they should not prepare thereon anything to be eaten or drunk, and that it is not lawful to draw water, or bring in or take out thereon through their gates any burden, which they had not prepared for themselves on the 6th day in their dwellings. And they should not bring in nor take out from house to house on that day, for that day is more holy and blessed than any Jubilee day of the Jubilees. On this we keep Sabbath in the heavens before it was made known to any flesh to keep Sabbath thereon the earth. And the Creator of all blessed it, and the Creator of all things blessed it, but he did not sanctify all peoples and nations to keep Sabbath thereon, but Israel only. Them alone he permitted to eat and drink, and to keep Sabbath thereon on the earth. And the Creator of all things blessed this day, which he had created for blessing and holiness and glory above all days. This law and testimony was given to the children of Israel as a law forever unto the generations. Alright, I'm going to take a break real quick. I'll be right back. Darkness. Is it evil? To the Blue Letter Bible, the Greek word for darkness in John 1:5 is scotia. The definition in Strong's is dimness, obscurity, literal and figurative. So according to the Blue Letter Bible, the three usages in John 1 for darkness are darkness, literal, the darkness due to want of light, and 3, a metaphor used of ignorance of divine things and its associated wickedness and the resultant misery in hell. In Isaiah 45:7, God says that he forms light and creates darkness, or koshek. Clearly, this darkness does not necessarily mean evil. There are two different types of God's children: those who are known and those who are unknown. The ones who are known as in not hidden, they are in the light, or as we note, the spotlight. They are well known amongst or growing in popularity amongst God's people. Then there are the hidden or the unknown. They are being kept in darkness because God is working on them until they are ready to be released into the light. Everyone knows of the Discord app. Well, we have a growing community that enjoys having deep discussions and living life together. So if you're interested or have been looking for a community like that, be sure to click the link in the description to join us. We'd love to have you. Since biblical times, dreams have been a way for God to speak to us, and He has given His people gifts to interpret those messages for His people. I have been studying and interpreting dreams for years now, and the reviews people leave speak for themselves, so be sure to go to my website and request a session to see what God is showing you in the dream state. www.thegothicmystic.com. Alrighty. Shall we continue? We are now in chapter 3. Again, we're reading in the Book of Jubilees, which is translated by R.H. Charles. There's the book for those who are watching on video. And again, if you're wanting to buy this book and read along or read it for yourself, the link in Amazon is in the description. Alright, chapter 3. And on the 6 days of the second week, we brought in according to the word of God unto Adam and all the beasts and all the cattle and all the birds and everything that moves on the earth and everything that moves in the water, according to their kinds and according to their types, the beasts on the first day, the cattle on the second day, the birds on the third day, and all that which moves on the earth on the fourth day, and that which moves in the water on the fifth day. And Adam named them all by their respective names, and as he called them, so was their name. And on these 5 days Adam saw all these, male and female, according to every kind that was on the earth. But he was alone, and found no helpmeet for him. And the Lord said unto us, It is not good that the man should be alone. Let us make a helpmeet for him. And the Lord our God caused a deep sleep to fall upon him, and he slept. And he took for the woman one rib from amongst his ribs, and this rib was the origin of the woman from amongst his ribs. And he built up the flesh in its stead, and built the woman. And he awakened Adam out of his sleep, and on awaking he rose on the 6th day, and he brought her to him, and he knew her, and he said unto her, This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called my wife, because she was taken from her husband. Therefore shall man and wife be one, and therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And the first week was Adam created, and the rib his wife, and the second week he showed her unto him. For this reason the commandment was given, to keep in their defilement. For a male 7 days, and for a female twice 7 days. And after Adam had completed 40 days in the land where he had been created, we brought him into the Garden of Eden to till and keep it. But his wife they brought in on the 8th day, and after this she entered into the Garden of Eden. And for this reason the commandment is written on the heavenly tablets in regard to her that gives birth. If she bears a male, she shall remain in her uncleanness 7 days, according to the first week of days, and 3 days shall she remain in the blood of her purifying, and that she shall not, page won't churn, she shall not touch any hallowed thing, nor enter into the sanctuary until she accomplishes these days which are enjoined in the case of a male child. But in the case of a female child, she shall remain in her uncleanness 2 weeks of days, according to the first 2 weeks and 66 days, in the blood of her purification, and they will be in all 80 days. And when she had completed these 80 days, when she had completed these 80 days, we brought her into the Garden of Eden, for it is holier than all the days besides. For it is holier than all the earth besides, and every tree that is planted in it is holy. Therefore there was ordained regarding her who bears a male or female child the statute of those days, that she should touch no hallowed thing, nor enter into the sanctuary unto these days, for the male or female child are accomplished. This is the law and testimony which was written down for Israel, in order that they should observe it all the days, and in the first week of the first Jubilee. In parentheses, it actually says 1 to 7 a.m. Don't know what that means. Adam and his wife were in the Garden of Eden for 7 years, tilling and keeping it, and we gave him work, and we instructed him to do everything that is suitable for tillage. And he tilled the garden, and was naked, and knew it not, and was not ashamed. And he protected the garden from the birds and the beasts and cattle, and gathered its fruit, and eat, and put aside the residue for himself and for his wife, and put aside that which was being kept. And after the completion of the 7 years, which he had completed there, 7 years exactly, and then it says 8 a.m., so I know there's something there. In the second month, on the 7th day of the month, her serpent came and approached the woman, and the serpent said to the woman, Hath God commanded you, saying, Ye shall not eat of the tree of the garden? And she said to it, Of all the fruit of the trees of the garden God hath said unto us, Eat but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden. God hath said to us, Ye shall not eat thereof, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for God doth know that on the day ye shall eat thereof, your eyes will be opened, and ye be as gods, and ye shall know good and evil. And the woman saw the tree, that it was agreeable and pleasant to the eye, and that its fruit was good for food, and she took thereof and eat. And when she had first covered her shame and with fig leaves, she gave thereof to Adam, and he ate, and his eyes were open, and he saw that he was naked, and he took fig leaves and sewed them together, and made an apron for himself, and covered his shame. And God cursed the serpent, and was wroth with it forever. And he was wroth with the woman, because she hearkened to the voice of the serpent, and did eat, and said unto her, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy pains, and that in sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy return shall be unto thy husband, and he will rule over thee. And to Adam also he said, Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree which I commanded thee that thou because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree which I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat thereof. Cursed be the ground for thy sake, thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat thy bread in the sweat of thy face, till thou returnest to the earth, from whence thou wast taken. For earth thou art, and unto earth shalt thou return. I love this Old English, not really. And he made for them coats of skin, and clothed them, and sent them forth from the Garden of Eden. And on that day on which Adam went forth from the garden, he offered as a sweet savor an offering frankincense, galbanum, and stacte. I haven't heard that one before. And spices in the morning, with the rising of the sun, from the day that he covered his shame. And on that day was closed the mouth of all beasts, and of cattle, and of birds, and of whatever walks, and of whatever moves, so that they could no longer speak, for they had all spoken with one another from one lip and one tongue. And he sent out of the Garden of Eden all flesh that was in the Garden of Eden, and all flesh was scattered according to its kinds, and according to its types, unto the places which had been created for them. And to Adam alone did he give the wherewithal to cover his shame of all the beasts and cattle. On this account it is prescribed on the heavenly tablets, as touching all those who know the judgment of the law, that they should cover their shame, and should not uncover themselves as the Gentiles uncover themselves. And on the new moon and of the 4th month, Adam and his wife went forth from the Garden of Eden, and they dwelt in the land of Elda, in the land of their creation. And Adam called the name of his wife Eve, and they had no son to the first Jubilee. And after this he knew her, and he tilled the land as he had been instructed in the Garden of Eden. I'm going to stop there because my voice is starting to kill me. But we will resume in chapter 4 next week. Again, feel free to buy the book and kind of read along with me, because some of that old English it really gets me. But I hope everyone has a good weekend, and I will see y'all on Tuesday as usual. Don't forget to check out the website as I continue to update it. And then there's Patreon if you want to support or just donate via PayPal, either or. And I can't think of anything else. So until next time, I hope everyone takes care.